The movement must continue. See, we let it go to sleep. This movement's got to be woke up again.
All right. Good afternoon, Plug family. Again, here we are in another pandemic crisis. And as you can see, I am at home today in my own home, comfortable. We are live. So again, I always want to say thank you for supporting us, supporting Unite Louisville and everything that we do. And thank you for tuning in on your lunch break, your midday, like I always say. So look, there's a lot of things that have been going on this week. And, I just wanted to make sure that I say it without saying it. So that's here I am with the sweatshirt on. And so we have another change maker, right? I always bring beautiful, passionate people that are living for a purpose to the show. And today's guest, I would like her to introduce herself. Her name is Tish, correct? Frederick. I want to make sure I pronounce this right. But beautiful as you are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So thank you again. I know we were talking before we went live, and I want to thank you for taking your time out with us today. And can you introduce everybody, let them know who you are and what your organization stands for?
Yes, excuse me. Thank you for having me. My name is Tish Frederick, and I'm the founder and executive director of BAYA, which stands for Beautiful As You Are. People say BAYA all the time, so I think I probably should have named it BAYA, but it's BAYA. And we service girls in Louisville and Southern Indiana. We do self-esteem building, just different things to let girls know that they are loved.
And you know what, that is so important because self-image is something that we need to promote in a positive way, especially as Black women. And growing up, we've always had this stigma on us. We had to look a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Especially like when you're in the public eye, when you're in media and radio, we had to look a certain way. We had to our skin tone had to be a certain way, our hair had to be a certain way, our weight had to be a certain way. And I think it is very important that your organization is advocating for something that is so real, and it's an issue that we battle ourselves as women, and especially these young girls, if they don't have any mentors. So what are some things your program is doing, and how long have you been doing this?
Yeah, so we started in 2014 at our church. And I have to back up and tell you why we started. So I have a daughter. She's 21 now. Well, she'll be 21 actually next week. But we moved here from Detroit, Michigan, and she had a hard time getting acclimated and making friends. So she was bullied, and that bullying led to her hating herself, just hating everything about being here. She began to self-harm herself, and then she eventually tried to commit suicide. So we had her committed. And when we got her out of the hospital, everybody's answer is therapy and medication. And so she was so heavily medicated, she just wasn't herself anymore. And so I just started thinking, like, what can I do to help? And really, I have to be totally honest. I wasn't trying to help a whole bunch of people. I was trying to help my daughter and just show her that she was beautiful as you are. I said, you're beautiful as you are. No, I'm not, Mom. You have to tell me that. Yes, you are. And so my goal was to teach her how to cope with the stress she was feeling in a positive way. So medication's okay, but for her, the dose was so high. She was just like a zombie. And so my goal was to teach her just some fun things we can do that help you cope with the way you're feeling in a positive way. And so from there, we started out with 7 girls. It grew from 7 girls to like 50 girls within the first 2 years, because we started at the Cabbage Patch Settlement House, which is my favorite nonprofit in Louisville. I love them so much, but they believed in our program. And then from there, we picked up 9 JCPS schools over the next few years. So we ended up with like about 400 girls before the pandemic started. And we just would go in and do our empowerment workshops with them, teaching them how to cope with stress. That could be an empowerment session where we talk about bullying and how the bullies bully, how to rehabilitate the bully, how do you deal and cope with mean girls or mean people, mean teachers, mean parents. How do you deal with that? And then everything we do is very hands-on. So we do lots of fun activities. It's not just a lecture. It starts out with empowerment, but they always leave with something to take with them as a reminder of what they learned and what they did today. Whether it's a canvas, a painting, they do all kind of drawing, writing, just they always leave with something to remind them what we did today.
I like that. So there's a couple things that stood out. I was listening to you, your story and how this all began. And that's the thing, like a lot of us, it's so doctors are so quick into just pushing medication, pushing the pills, therapy. Everything is always a red, like a book with them. Everything's a book with them. But like, hey, wait a minute. This is my child. This is my family. This is our life. This is not a book. We're not an open book. And you can't treat us like you treated the next family that you just walked out of the door of, Mm-hmm. So out of a hospital room. And the thing about it, I love how you captured that. Wait a minute. You're my child. You're a child of God. You are beautiful as you are. And just giving them encouragement and just the love and just a holistic approach of getting that emotion out to get to listen how they feel.
Yeah.
How she, and I just love how you just was like, wait a minute, I'm gonna take a charge of this. I'm gonna take a charge of this. This is my baby and I'm gonna take a charge of this. But not only that, it just went into helping other people. Mm-hmm. And that's So are we getting ready to go on break here soon before we go? I just want to make sure. Okay. We have what? I'm sorry, Omni. Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. We just want to make sure we are on track. Everything is Zoom, and we talked about the school thing. So can you tell everybody exactly what are some challenges that you have faced in your organization that you possibly need some type of support with, if it's volunteers or funding, or could you explain to us exactly some challenges or some things that are hopeful that you want to change from last year, the new year, some of the new programs that you could be implementing, or if you need funding for that?
Yeah. So we are always looking for volunteers. The hardest part of running a nonprofit, at least in my opinion, is managing volunteers, because you have to meet people where they are. That means I'm not paying you. So I just have to accept if you can be here today, great. If you're scheduled to be here, but then you cancel at the last minute, you have to understand that as a nonprofit. So I always need volunteers and people with like really good skill sets. So at the BAYA Center, we teach kids coping techniques like art, like drawing, art therapy, dance. If you're a dancer, we could use you. Women that are empowerment speakers, love to have them come. We do workshops with our teenagers where they just come in and they volunteer an hour of their time and they do hands-on activities with the girls. We always need facilitators to come in and speak to our kids, but not just talk, do a hands-on activity with them so they are engaged and they're listening. So that's probably my biggest challenge, is that funding, of course, always for nonprofits. But if people want to jump in and just say, hey, Tish, I know how to sew, we can do a sewing class. We've had a sewing teacher that did that for us. Tish, I do African dance. I want to come to an African dance class. Great. We have somebody that's going to do a leadership development class from John Maxwell starting in March. And I'm excited about that, but that's just another person with a gift and a talent that can come and help these kids. So we're always looking for that. That's my biggest challenge.
All right. We're getting ready to go on break. Thank you for tuning in. Come back with us.
Hi, my name is Renee Unique with Unite Louisville on the Plug Network Online. Check me out every Friday at noon on your lunch break. Stay connected and stay plugged in.
Hi, positive vibes from me to you. I am Latoya with the Toy Box. Join me bi-weekly on the Plug Network online. That's Monday nights at 7 p.m., ready to do your work. Imagine a world happy, healthy, and healed because you showed up for you. So stay plugged in.
What's up, y'all? It's Alexa Morgan with Lex Rated Podcast on the Plug Network online bi-weekly on Tuesdays.
With us at plugnetworkonline.com. Again, advertise with us at plugnetworkonline.com. We got the eyes that are looking for you.
All right, and we're back, everyone, and thank you for tuning in with Untitled Chapter. Again, my name is Renee Unique, and thank you for joining us on your Friday, and hope you're staying warm and COVID-free. So today's guest, I have Tish Frederick with. Let me make sure I pronounce it. I want to chop it up. Is it BAYA? What is it again?
BAYA.
BAYA. Everybody says BAYA. Yeah, the swing is a little right.
Yeah.
So we're talking about some parenting and some things. So go ahead and explain to us, give us more depth.
Yeah, so the lead up to BAYA, it sounds fluffy and good. But before we got to the BAYA part, I always tell parents my daughter would get bullied at school, but then she would come home and I was her biggest bully. So, and parents don't realize that we can play a huge part in our kids' mental health and why they feel the way they feel. A lot of the time it's the pressure that we're putting on them. So for me, I would always bully her and she would come home and she's self-harming or she's crying about what happened at school. And I'm like, but we're strong Black women. We don't act like that. We don't cry. We don't break. We definitely don't cut ourselves. So then it turned into spanking, I'm going to spank you because you may want to feel pain since you want to cut, do that. I'll hurt you in this way. And it was awful. And when she finally had that break, I had to do a bunch of self-reflection to really take a look at my part in why she was feeling that way. And that's really how BAYA was birthed. I always tell her, I said, this organization was built out of your pain. And I'm so sorry that you had to go through that, but now we can help other parents, other girls that are going through the same thing. But it didn't start out pretty because I had never seen mental illness. I didn't understand it. I had never been exposed to it. So my initial reaction was, no, we don't do that. So now my goal is to educate parents and say, yes, our girls do suffer from the same things that everybody else suffers from, and then try to educate them.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And speaking of bullying, what resonated with me when I'm listening to you is I was bullied, right? Because I didn't look at I was skinny, I was skinny. Very quiet, wear glasses, it's like what they say back then in the 80s, what a nerd is what they say. I don't know what they say now.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't know what they say now, but and I know the older you get, and it does. I'm like, it affects your self-esteem. It really, I remember so many days I would go home and I would, literally just, cry like, you got to be kidding me. And I'm not, and that's the thing. Like, I have friends and I make friends and I'm this and that and this and that, and then I sit back and like, I may not be the popular person. So as time went on, you have to learn how to love yourself, right? Yeah. And you have supporting arms around you. That's like you start learning your value, and then sometimes, and that's why I'm so glad you have this program, because just think about it, there are so many young girls that are out here and they don't have anyone to go to. They don't have anyone to talk to. They don't have any mentors, and they're going out here doing things, degrading their bodies, are doing drugs or doing other promiscuous things because they're trying to find that love. Like we said, I'm not a perfect parent. I didn't live a perfect life,
Right.
So,
Mhm.
what are some things, how can people get a hold of you to support? If I was to say, for instance, if they have, I know so many people that have the girls. I have boys. I have, but I hear all these stories like, oh, she's doing this, she's doing that. Do they have to have insurance? Is it something free, or is it,
Yeah.
because I know they go across the bridge because you're over in Indiana and then have a chapter. Can you explain to us exactly?
Yeah. So the good thing about our program is there is no charge for the program. So we do tell parents if they are able to donate $20 a month and we call it our Butterfly Society. If they're able to join that club and be a member, that's great, but there's no pressure to do so. I would say a lot of our parents do join because, it's $20. They're like, that's it, $20 a month. But it helps us keep the lights on at our building and, take care of the overhead things that grants don't cover. So that's the only cost for the program. We are trying to bring in therapists into the BAYA Center so that, right now we have a lot of kids that are on waiting lists, waiting to see somebody. And it's difficult. That's what happened to my daughter. She was waiting, but while you're waiting, you're still hurting yourself. You're still depressed. You're still feeling this way. Maybe they give you a pacifier of some medication, but the root of the issue is still there. So we're trying to bring that in. That portion will be with insurance. But I'm trying to make sure it accepts Medicaid and that we do like the sliding scale when we have that in our center. But yeah, we have a lot of girls that cross the bridge from Louisville. So we are always looking for somebody that wants to donate a van one day. Let me say that out loud. If anybody wants to donate a van, the need is there because we have girls that are crossing over to Southern Indiana that were already in our program when it was at Farnsley Middle School or at Cameron Elementary. We closed because of COVID. But they know we're still here. So they cross that bridge every Saturday faithfully. We have some moms that pick up, if they live in the same neighborhood, they will pack their car with kids and bring them across the bridge to me. So we always need that type of help and that type of assistance too. I forgot to say that before.
Right. So that says a lot, like when you talked about, it's like the crossing the bridge to success, pathway of success, and it doesn't matter where it is, but if I want to get that support, I don't want to be on that waiting list. And that's the thing. It's a lot of times, like even in my personal situation with my older son as well. It's like when you try to reach out and try to call therapists, are you needing this? There's always a waiting list.
Yes, always.
What you're doing is hitting the root core of what is going on in our community, what is needed, and how you are able to implement the programs from the things that you went through, the life experiences, and able to help other people. I can't enough. It's desperately needed. And I think if we had a lot of that going on, I'm telling where we would be right now. Yeah. Kudos to our organizations. Like, I don't know, for instance, the first thing people say when you go to the doctor, they always say, oh, and not to throw 7 counties under the bus, but they always say, oh, well, here's 7 counties and here's this and this and this. And I keep listening. And we know that with so many of these organizations out here, that they can only do so much, especially with the limited staff that they have and what they are allowed to do. So here are children, they're suffering. They're suffering. We're suffering because we're stressed out. We're trying to get the help they need. And they're telling us, oh, well, you can't, months from now, we can't get them in here. We can't get them in here. Oh my God, the pandemic's just. Okay. So when we come back, we're getting ready to go on break, and we're going to continue this conversation. And thank you for tuning in with Untitled.
Hi, my name is Renee Unique with Unite Louisville on the Plug Network Online. Check me out every Friday at noon on your lunch break. Stay connected and stay plugged in.
Positive vibes from me to you. I am Latoya with the Toy Box. Join me bi-weekly on the Plug Network Online. That's Monday nights at 7 p.m. ready to do your work. Imagine a world happy, healthy, and healed because you showed up for you. So stay plugged in.
What's up, y'all? It's Alexa Morgan with Lex Rated Podcast on the Plug Network online bi-weekly on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Stay plugged in.
Want your brand or business featured on The Plug? Advertise with us at plugnetworkonline.com. Again, advertise with us at plugnetworkonline.com. We got the eyes that are looking for you.
You know, she's whatever. All right, we're back. You caught me relaxing a little bit in my own day. So look, we were discussing a couple of things, and we were talking about just hitting the problem from the root, from the root core, and that's what Miss Tish Frederick is doing with her organization. She is hitting the root of the problem, and that's exactly what we need. She is the middle person, and she's going to explain it to you. And also, I had a question for you too. Age group.
Yep.
Age.
We service girls ages 6 to 18. So I used to only do teenagers, but parents were like, hey, I have this 6-year-old that's already suffering from low self-esteem. Can you please help? So years ago, we just kept dropping the age. And so now it's 6. So we do 6 to, so what a Saturday looks like is we do ages 6 to 11 from 10:30 to 2. And then from 2:30 to 5:30, we do ages 12 to 18. And that's more in depth. We dig in because they're going to age out soon and just be out there. So we hit them real hard. The 6 to 11-year-olds is still self-esteem building, but it's fluffy and it makes you feel good. But they still love them, their self. But we split them up in those age groups. And eventually I want to be able to add, more days and break those groups up even more because, still 6 to 11 is a big gap. So that's one of long-term goals. And when we're able to expand, because I told you I want to have a center over in Louisville. So when we're ready to expand over there, so kids don't have to cross the bridge, we will be able to do more flexibility as far as the ages too.
Right. So, a lot of times, like we were saying, then back then, so, back in the 90s, it tells my age, and if someone was bullying me, if I was having issues with low self-esteem, bullied, where could I don't think there was too many organizations besides, what we had spoke about before. Yeah. So now, the great thing about this is I think a lot of times the low self-esteem, I'll say my personal opinion, I'm not, I don't have facts or anything. Well, my personal opinion is I think with the social media and Hollywood and music has a lot to do with it, and peer pressure has a lot to do with it, where these young girls feel like I have to look a certain way, I have to act a certain way. What do you think about these things with the TikToks, and I'm on social media and I'm flashing, I'm doing, and you could use it, you can kind of flip it into a self-positive. So,
we use those tools. So it's funny you say that because we do, and the girls hate this workshop. We do a workshop where we say there's no filter allowed. So I bought an old-fashioned Polaroid camera and I take a picture of them and it spits out what you look like. And they hate that. I don't even look good. But why? Because you're so used to looking at yourself with a filter. You don't even know what you look like, and you are beautiful. And then we have a beautiful discussion about that. But just to get them past the whole Polaroid picture and they can't lighten themselves up. Or I used to get on my daughter and say, why are you lightening your skin all the time with these filters? That's not you. I even get on my friends that do it all the time. You don't need a filter. You're beautiful as you are. There's no need for a filter. Just be you. So what, you got a pimple right here. It's you. So those are always tough discussions because they are measuring themselves to the Beyoncés on TV or all the beauty they see in the perfectly sculpted bodies. Years ago, we brought somebody in that did photoshopping and showed them how he could make muscles. He can make you have bigger chest, you know, the small waist, all with a click of a button. But you're looking at these magazines thinking it's real, but that's not real. We can't measure ourselves to magazines and social media. Nobody, even me, I don't post my worst picture on my worst day on social media. I make sure I look presentable and perfect when I'm posting my picture. I don't filter, but I do, you know, we still pick and choose. We don't select pictures that are real, you know? And so I try to get the girls to kind of shift and change their mindset. I don't think I've broken them out of them filters yet, but I'm trying.
I don't know if I can get that far, but I understand you're exactly right. You're exactly right. And you know, I think a lot of times is even with women, I think this, I so love this, your programming, the concept, what you're doing, because, you know, even, you know, at the age of 45, right? And just looking back when I was in elementary, middle school, and high school, the things that I went through.
Oh yeah, I was skinny like you.
Yeah.
I was bullied for being skinny. When I got married, I weighed 98 pounds and I was 4 months pregnant at 98 pounds. I didn't even gain weight until I was in my 40s. So I was bullied for the same reason, you know, and now people, I don't call it bullying, but I had somebody look at me one day and she was like, oh my God, your legs are so big. I'm like, well, man, if I had low self-esteem, you just crush me, you know? And I always tell the girls, the bullying doesn't stop. It's how you choose to deal with it. What is your reaction to the comments others are going to say about it? They're going to say it, but what's your reaction? Are you going to internalize it and hurt? And oh my God, I really do have big legs. You're going to keep it moving. Yes, I'm thick. It is what it is.
Right. And especially, you know, you look every day, you wake up, well, not every day, but you might as well say almost. You wake up and there's something on the national news about somebody going back into the schools with a gun. There's some gun violence.
Oh, because and it always is bullying.
Bullying. It goes back to bullying.
Always.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
It is desperately, desperately needed. It really is. You know, advocating, going to the schools, supporting up the organizations, keeping the plan and the agenda, because it's always bigger. I would say it's always bigger than us. It's always bigger than us. And I think nowadays, because everything is visual, everything's visual. And they always say, like, the first point of contact with someone is what you see on the outside. Even with dating, I tell you, look, let me tell you something, you're gonna accept me the way I am.
Right. Right. Yeah.
That's it. Take time. Eyelashes off with you know, wig on, wig off, braids on, braids. It doesn't matter. Me the way I am. This is it. Because we are unique. Excuse me. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. I've been out in the cold and everything else. It's winter time here. I didn't hear you say, how many minutes do we have? Where are we at? All right, 10 seconds. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys for tuning in with us. Can you please tell everybody exactly how that, you know, where you are on, that can get a hold of you, your social media platform?
Yep. Look up BAYA, Beautiful As You Are, BAYA. You can go to our website, bayacorp.org, and you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just type in BAYA.
All right. And thank you again. Stay warm. Stay warm. I'm going to get some hot chocolate. I've been out in the cold. I'm going to have some chicken noodle soup today. So, you know, excuse me for my little sneezes and everything. So thank you again. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for all you do. We have all you do.
Thank you for having me.
Till next time, Plug family. Again, I am you. And if you would like to become part of the show, reach out to the Plug Network online or Renee Unique on Facebook. Have a good one. Be blessed.
Positive vibes from me to you. I am Latoya with the Toy Box. Join me bi-weekly on the Plug Network online. That's Monday nights at 7 p.m. ready to do your work. Imagine a world happy, healthy, and healed because you showed up for you. So stay plugged in.
Hi, my name is Renee Unique with Unite Louisville on the Plug Network Online. Check me out every Friday at noon on your lunch break. Stay connected and stay plugged in.
What's up, y'all? It's Alexa Morgan with Lex Rated Podcast on the Plug Network Online bi-weekly on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Stay plugged in.
Want your brand or business featured on the plug? Advertise with us at plugnetworkonline.com. Again, advertise with us at plugnetworkonline.com. We got the eyes that are looking for you.